Hey, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing the massive master grade Sinanju Stein narrative version, and this is going to be a pretty cool kit. Obviously, pretty much the exact same kit as the Sinanju Stein Verka that came out years ago. I have one, and I've never built it, but I'm going to build this one because we're going to take a look at this and review it, of course. So, what's different about the narrative version? Well, as I'm sure you all are probably well aware now because we already reviewed the HG version of this, the differences in the narrative version is basically that it has the sleeves parts on it, the shield is a little bit different, the rifle is a little bit different, the color is a little bit different, but that's pretty much it. One other thing that is also important to note, though, is the difference in the decals between the two kits as well. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later, but let's go ahead and just take a look at this awesome box art here first. I love the fact that this is like set in a hangar, like he's coming out of a hangar. We usually see like on the box art they're just like flying in space or in some space battle or something like that, but this is like pre-battle, just exiting the hangar. It looks really cool. You have the little maintenance crew or whatever over here on the side and then down here below as well. In the background you have the Giro Zulu there looking really cool, and just it's a really cool, like a dark, menacing scene here where he's kind of like in shadow, and it makes the Sinanju Stein just look really super cool. So let's get around into the bottom of the box here. One thing to note now that we can see the box from the side is how thick the box is. It's a very big, very deep box here, a little bit deeper than the original Verka. The original Verka is maybe something like that, so this one's got a little bit more in there, just because it's like basically this is the whole original Verka kit plus a couple runners of new parts, basically, as I understand it. As we're making our way around here onto the side, guys, just as always, gotta say a huge thank you to SA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review. Check the link to their site there down below, and you can pick up this kit and many other things there, of course, with 10% off using the coupon code there that is in the description. So check that out if you guys haven't already, but you guys already know that. You've been watching for a while, right? So here we have a little bit about the engraving. That'd be the sleeves markings on the chest and the arms, the forearms. It's looking very handsome there, all painted up there on the front and back. A little bit here about the saber rack in the arms, the weaponry. It has the bazooka, the grenade launcher, the shield, the beam sabers, and the high beam rifle. The high beam rifle is basically the Sinanju's beam rifle there with some new parts added onto it. So just like you can attach the bazooka and the grenade launcher into the bottom of the Sinanju's beam rifle, you can do that here with the high beam rifle as well. And then about the backpack over here, and some more information about the kit over here. Markings, the cockpit hatch opens. It uses the hand parts here with the movable fingers. As you guys may well know if you've been watching my channel for a while, I prefer fixed pose hands personally, but these are nice sometimes as well too, but ultimately what I'll probably end up doing for mine is just getting some fixed pose HD Builders parts hands or something. Over here on the other side of the box, we've got just some action poses showing off some different articulation and gimmicks here built into the kit. Basically, it's just got some really nice articulation all throughout there. It's still based on the same inner frame of the Master Grade Sinanju, which came out in 2009, so it is now a 10-year-old frame, but I'm not sure how much has really changed about the frame. As far as I understand it, not a lot, but still a good base kit to be based off of. Here's exactly how it's going to look just straight out of the box without painting on it. As you can see, the painted version is a little bit lighter in color. It's a little bit more like just kind of very light gray. This is definitely a little bit darker gray than that, but it does come with some decal markings, foil stickers, and some water slides actually. So it's pretty rare to have a non-Verka kit come with water slides, but those are going to be mostly for the sleeves markings, as we'll see in a moment. No list price here listed, but for those of you wondering, the list price for this was 8,100 yen, so it's definitely a big, expensive master grade for sure. Considering the original kit was 7,000 yen list price, so 1,100 yen, basically like adding an extra 10 bucks to this kit is basically just for like the one or two runners maybe added to it. Does seem a little bit like a lot to be added to that, but we'll see. This runner, I can tell right off the bat, is probably the new runner. I don't know if there's anything else too much new about this. I believe there's just the one runner that's completely new. But we do have some of the Sinanju parts in here used for this, like these fuel tank parts are not original to the Sinanju Stein, but they are original to the original Sinanju kit. So we got some extra parts added to that in there as well. Here in the manual we can see the box art there on the front, looking very nice. On the back, a nice big reference image there of the painted kit. So you can check that out and just admire that. Opening it up to the center pages here, we've got some information, and all this information here is in Japanese and English, but it's all in very fine, small print, so I'm not sure how we're really going to be able to see that. The painting guide is also here in Japanese and English. quick tip about pen aligning there. Some more information about the gimmicks. Again, there's stuff there in Japanese and English, but if you're interested in learning more about the mobile suit, I'm sure all this information has probably already been updated on the wiki page, so you can check that out there. Weaponry, again, all there as well. Going back to the front page, we do have some more information here about the mobile suit, and so, of course, it's always just fun to read this if you're interested in the lore of the mobile suit more. And then we have our parts list, so let's take a look at all of the X's here. So on the A runner, a lot of X's there. That's parts from the original Sinanju Stein. Some parts here on the E runner. Basically, looks like on almost every runner, you're going to have some parts that are crossed off. A couple things to pay attention to here is we'll have like double of the same runner, but they're in different color. Luckily, that's all here in Japanese and English, so it'll tell you for the dark blue version of the F1 runner, you're only going to use like the one part. For the gray version of the F1 runner, you're going to use a lot more of that. And then the same thing here for the H runner. You'll have the H runner in gray and then one in brown. And so you're going to use some parts of which one or the other. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. I know it tells you like during the actual construction process, like in these pages when you're putting a part together, if it is one from one of those runners, it will tell you the color, the gray or blue or whatever. It mentions that in this part as well, so you don't have to keep referring back to this page. But as you can see, again here, just tons of X's on all these parts that are going to be left over. So you'll have a lot of leftover plastic that we do actually pay for. So that is probably a good portion of that higher price for this. So it's just all going through the construction. Let's just skip to the back. So what I'm interested in seeing here is the decal guide. So here on the very last page is the decal and sticker guide. So you'll have all of that here in this nice illustration. So first off, here's that foil sticker sheet, and right off the bat, for a master grade kit, this foil sticker sheet is not looking so good. Now, you have the eyes, okay, that's pretty normal. You have the parts for the sleeves markings, that's also pretty expected. But then these other ones down here are definitely going to be a bit of a shame. I'm not sure at the moment where these go. I think these go in the thrusters on the side of the leg. The other ones, I can't be too sure, but to see the ones like that on a master grade is a little bit disappointing. Fortunately for the sleeves markings, we do also have the option of this Waterslide decal sheet. Now, I think definitely your best bet is just going to be a reverse wash painting technique, but if you don't want to do that, if you just want to stick to decals, at least you have these. These will look nicer, I'm sure, than the Waterslides with a little bit of just careful hands. You got those, but then we do also have these sticker markings as well. Now, while these are pretty nice, the nice thing about the Verka was that the Verka had a bigger sheet, kind of similar like this, but they were all water slides, so you had all these nice cool markings on there. And so if you're trying to decide about which version of the Sinanju Stein you want to get, that is something that I think you should consider. If you want a nice set of water slides that covers more than just the sleeves markings and the big main logos there, then maybe just the original Ka might be something that is something more for you. Then we got SB1 for our standard beam saber effect parts here in clear yellow. 1/100 scale MP1 hands here. These are the pre-molded manipulators that are fully articulated. And then here we have runner A. This is from the original Sinanju Stein kit. So some of these parts, as we saw in the manual, we won't be using. But one thing, just seeing like the parts for the head on there and the parts for the shield, it just reminds me of how big the Sinanju is as a mobile suit. So this is going to be a pretty big boy master grade. Runner B as well from the original master grade, just some more larger and smaller armor parts on here, as well as our pilot figures. And this is another interesting thing. This kit only comes with pilot figures for full frontal. It doesn't come with the pilot figures for the narrative version pilot, unfortunately. So that is something where I think Bandai also slipped up a little bit. If this was going to be released as a premium Bandai kit, then I wouldn't care at all. But considering this is a standard release kit, I think they definitely should have made a proper pilot figure for this. And so honestly, now that I'm saying that out loud, I almost kind of wonder if this kit was maybe originally planned to be a P-Bandai release, but then later changed to be just a standard release. But either way, here we have runner C. This is, again, from just the original Sinanju. Or I think the original Sinanju didn't have this little bit over here for the eyes. That was added for the Stein, and now we have it with this kit as well. And so these are just a few clear parts here for the eyes, some camera lenses, and the cockpit inside there. Runner D, once again, back to parts from the Sinanju Stein Verka originally, and so we just got a whole bunch more armor parts on here, and we've got 2 of this D runner, so this is going to be a lot of stuff for like the arms and the legs where stuff is doubled. Runner E1 again from the original Sinanju Stein, this is in a dark navy blue, and then runner E2 as well, which would be a copy of this section of the runner here. Now here's where it does start to get a little bit tricky. Here we have runner F1 from the original Sinanju Stein in a kind of medium gray color, but then we also have a runner of F1 as well here in a dark navy blue. And then we also have a runner F2, which is a copy of this half of the runner over here. Runner F2, however, we only have in the dark gray color. Runner G1, here are some parts that were specific for the Sinanju Stein that set it apart from the original Sinanju, so some kind of frame bits that were different. And then we have as well runner G2 for some more of that new hip parts, and there's new parts for the underside of the skirts, the head, and some parts on there. We also have our action-based connector, and these parts are, interestingly, in a kind of interesting shade of dark brown. Same thing here for runner H, just a bunch of internal parts, frame parts, and things like that that were different from the original Sinanju. So these are on a runner here for the Sinanju Stein. We've got 2 of this H runner in dark brown, but then we've also got 2 of the H runner in gray as well. So we've actually got 4 of the H runner here. That's a lot of wasted plastic, I feel like. Runner I here once again in dark brown. These are a few parts from the Sinanju Stein. But then we also have an eye runner from the original Sinanju as well, so just again make sure you're paying attention to which eye runner you need, but this is basically just the parts for the fuel tanks. That's all you need on here. You're not going to use that part up there in the corner, but we do have 2 of this eye runner. Then we've got runner J in this very interesting shade of like wine red, sort of. It's kind of a little bit purplish, dark red color. This is just for basically the inside of the thruster bells, these little missiles that go on the back of the shield of Sinanju Stein, we're not going to use. Now, this is the J runner from the Sinanju Stein. We do also have the J runner from the original Sinanju as well. This one is in gray. As you can see, this is basically just going to be the parts we're going to use for the beam rifle. Runner K now is back to more brown inner frame parts, but these are from the original Sinanju kit, so some parts we're going to use, others not. Runner L here from the Sinanju Stein. I know we're using the longer type fuel tanks from the Sinanju, so these extra fuel tanks on here you won't use, or maybe you could use if you prefer the shorter ones, it seems like. So we'll take a look at that in the review. Of course, we'll go over all of the relevant extra parts, but here we have 2 of the L runner. Then we're skipping to runner N here for some more frame parts from the original Sinanju kit in this same dark brown color, and again we've got 2 of these. And then runners P1 and P2 are all of our parts here for the bazooka. These are made in such a way as, of course, they were originally released together with a manga, so that's why they would have been packaged like this in this small like manga box style. Then later they were released together with the OVA version of the Sinanju kit, and with the Sinanju Stein, and now with this kit as well. And finally, with this very large Q runner, we finally get to some of the brand new parts for this kit. So we've got 4 colors, black all down the side there for the sleeves markings parts, a couple of parts in dark blue for the chest and the shield, some brown parts there at the top again for like the shield, a hand, and some rifle parts and things like that. And then some of that light gray color there for just a few parts around on the kit there. And finally, last but not least, runner R here is a couple of new parts as well for the chest. Now, I'm not exactly sure. At first glance, these really don't look all that different from the original parts from the original Sinanju Stein kit, but we'll have to check. So there we go. There's a lot of plastic in this box. It is unfortunate that there is going to be so much left over when the kit is done, but that just does kind of seem to be the way that they had to do it, unfortunately, for the kit. But either way, it's going to be a really awesome master grade for sure. The thing is just going to be if it's going to be worth the price difference. If you already have the original Sinanju Stein Verka, then maybe you don't want to go ahead and pick up this version as well because it's pretty pricey. But if you don't have any version of the Master Grade Sinanju Stein quite yet, then hopefully the review will be helpful in letting you guys know which version you want to end up getting, the Verka or the narrative version. So we'll have the review coming up next. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other further questions or comments, of course, feel free to leave those down below. And I'll see you guys in the review. Bye-bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.